Welcome back to the program. So we're 2 weeks from a federal budget, and of course the pandemic is probably going to be one of the key ballot box questions. But what else might be on affecting your vote if there was a spring election? Well, we've got exclusive new polling data from Nanos Research, just done for PowerPlay, that shows some interesting issues. For example, Canadians are more likely to vote for a party that supports a price on carbon than a party that opposes it. I want to show you this. Overall, about 36% of Canadians surveyed would vote for a candidate whose party backs a price on carbon. 24% of respondents wouldn't support it, while another 32% said carbon pricing was not an issue that would affect their vote at all. Now remember, this poll comes just weeks after the Supreme Court gave the federal government the green light to impose some kind of minimum standard on carbon pricing. And of course, there was this resolution that the Conservatives couldn't pass, that climate change is real at their convention. So this is an issue. So what does it mean going forward as all the parties are moving towards some kind of election footing? The Conservatives had their policy convention a couple weeks ago. You've got the Liberals and the NDP having theirs this week. Everybody's getting ready. So let's bring back the press panel, the press gallery to dig into that. Ian Bailey, the Globe and Mail's, well, he's still in Vancouver, but he's going to join the Ottawa Bureau soon enough. I hope he likes that. Emily Nicolas from Le Devoir and the Gazette. And our pollster is our friend Nick Nanos from Nanos Research. Nick, great to have you here, and happy Easter Monday to you. Nick, let me just start with you. What does this, look, I guess if there's an election, the ballot box question is all going to be the pandemic. But price on carbon is very politicized. What does this data that you found tell you?
Well, what it tells us is that it's more likely to be a vote draw than to be a drag for those parties that are in favor of a price on carbon. But, Evan, the killer numbers are the ones beneath the regional variations. If you're in the province, if you happen to be a Canadian that lives in the province of British Columbia, your 43% say that they will vote in favor of a party that supports a carbon tax. That's bad news for the Conservatives in British Columbia. And, the other thing is, when we look at the prairies, they're most likely to vote against a party that has a price on carbon. But the thing is they're already voting Conservative. So this particular issue is more efficient for the Liberals based on the distribution of views because of Canadians outside of the prairies more likely to favor a party that supports a price on carbon.
Yeah, it's interesting, Emily, when you look at that, Conservatives need to grow in a couple of areas. They just didn't have, as Nick said, an efficient vote. They got the most votes in the last election, but they are concentrated in Alberta and Saskatchewan. They need to grow in Quebec. They need to grow in the suburbs of Ontario. They need to grow in the lower mainland BC. Is the environmental issue and a price on carbon going to be a help or a hindrance to them?
In those regions that you've just named, Quebec and BC, definitely it's a hindrance, especially with the vote that they've had at their national convention against recognizing climate change as a real issue. This is something that the opposition parties, the Liberals, the NDP, will not let fly. This is very good material for either attack ads or debates, questions, and so linking the Conservatives to being anti-environment is definitely something that other parties will try to look to do, and it will be hard, if you're trying to make a complex response that is not necessarily easy to digest. It's going to be hard for them to answer those attacks, if that is indeed a valid question or an important issue in this election, rather than just looking at the pandemic.
Yeah, and I think we'll find out how important it will be when the Liberals have their budget in 2 weeks, but also at the policy conventions for the NDP and the Liberals. Are they going to put climate at the forefront, or even if they want to, is it all about the pandemic?
Well, going back to the carbon tax, British Columbia settled this issue to a degree in 2009 election. The Conservatives have promised a climate change plan, and one will be coming without a carbon tax. This certainly raises the bar for what the Conservatives have to put on offer for voters in the lower mainland, a competitive area of the country, those voters who are going to vote with the environment. Maybe the Conservatives will come up with something very good, maybe not, but they've certainly made the challenge very difficult for them ahead. And obviously, two party conventions this week, the Liberals, the New Democrats, and I expect, obviously, the environment will be a part of both of those conventions and touting their environmental credentials.
Yeah,